Is this you? Looks like it's time for an upgrade. But will a cheap gaming chair do, or do you need to get an expensive brand that's really gonna make your friends jealous? The shipping process is going to be the first potential area where you may see a big difference between an expensive gaming chair and a cheap gaming chair. Imagine this. Your chair has shipped, you've been tracking it, it finally arrives, and you're pumped. You can't wait to use your brand new gaming chair. You get it opened and you find that the chair is broken. All of your excitement immediately turns to frustration because you know you'll need to wait for a replacement. This is a situation that can happen when ordering chairs online, but the chances of this happening can be greatly reduced with good packaging. Cheap chairs will always have poor packaging because they need to keep the price down. Chairs like the GT Racing chair will have boxes with thin sidewalls and little material inside the box to keep the pieces safely secured in one place. On the flip side, Secret Lab chairs have some of the nicest packaging in the market. The box itself is strong. Each part of the chair has its own foam holder or box or some type of plastic covering to protect the items, so it's much safer overall. Nothing is more frustrating than when you're trying to assemble a product and you just can't get the dang thing to go together, and it's all because it is made of cheap quality parts. I've put together a lot of these gaming chairs, and the cheapest ones are almost always a real pain to get together. The Secret Lab chair, on the other hand, is one of the easiest chairs I've ever assembled. The parts all lined up correctly and it went together very smoothly. When we decide to spend our money on a bigger purchase, we want some type of peace of mind. Is what we're buying actually worth the investment? When we look at the cheap gaming chair, it has a 1-year warranty or 2 years from sharing on social media. So the per year cost is about $60 to $120, and you will need to replace that chair every couple years. The expensive gaming chair gives you longer coverage, 3-year standard, or 5 years if you do decide to share it on social media, bringing that $499 price tag down to about $100 per year, and the cost becomes very comparable to the cheap gaming chair. The one area that we're probably going to see the biggest difference between cheap and expensive gaming chairs is going to be the build quality. This is very evident when we look at the parts. The GT Racing chair has a Class 3 cylinder compared to the Class 4 cylinder on the Secret Lab. It has a plastic base as compared to the aluminum base, and it also has a really low-end vinyl that is prone to that cracking and peeling that you see as compared to the moisture-resistant vinyl on the Secret Lab chair. This chair is also much flimsier compared to the Secret Lab chair. When I just grab it here, I can wiggle it around side to side. The armrests make the whole chair wiggle, so everything just doesn't fit together like an expensive chair does. When I grab the Secret Lab chair, you can see that when I move it, the whole chair moves together. I don't have individual parts that are wiggly and moving around. Everything just feels much more solid, much more well built. The cheap gaming chair is going to have a low-end swivel tilt mechanism as compared to the expensive gaming chair, which features a knee tilt mechanism. This is going to make the recline experience much different on both chairs because of the way that the piston is positioned. You'll see that the piston has a lot of my weight in front of it, which causes the recline to be very difficult. I have to get all the way up on my tippy toes to get all the way back. Very difficult to recline, not a very practical position. When we look at the Secret Lab chair with the better mechanism, my weight is positioned further back as compared to the piston, much easier to recline, much smoother, and I don't have to use as much effort as compared to the swivel tilt. The expensive gaming chair also has some additional adjustability, including 5-position tilt lock instead of the 1-position upright tilt lock on the cheap gaming chair. It also has 4-way dimensional arms as compared to the 2-way adjustable arms, giving you that depth and width adjustment, and you also get 2-way adjustable lumbar support instead of this cheap pillow design, giving you a lot better back support on the expensive gaming chair. Another bonus on the expensive gaming chair arms is that they're much more comfortable than the cheap chair's arms. You don't have that concave design with the hard edges that cuts off your circulation. They're much larger, much more forgiving, and much softer overall. The expensive gaming chair is going to have the advantage in seat comfort right out of the gate because of the better foam quality. It's much more supportive, does not bottom out, and is a much better solution for those long gaming sessions. In my opinion, the bigger difference maker though is going to be the side bolster design on these two chairs. Most race style gaming chairs do have pronounced side bolsters, but almost all of them go with the design like GT Racing did, with that pronounced metal frame throughout the chair, which gives you very little wiggle room on the edges of the chair and can be very uncomfortable if you lean up against those side bolsters. Secret Lab did away with that metal frame in the seat, and instead it's just some thick padding there, much more comfortable to have your legs against, gives you much more area in the seat to use. The difference in back support between the expensive and the cheap gaming chair is going to be enormous. Cheap gaming chairs have that typical racing seat design with that absolutely flat back that has no curve to help put your spine in that proper angle, and instead they give you a cheap lumbar pillow that usually flattens within a few minutes and does almost nothing for your back. This is a terrible ergonomic design and is not going to be supportive for the long run. The expensive chair has gone with a two-way adjustable lumbar system, allowing you to position that lumbar support directly where you need it and also control how much support you're getting so that you can get more or less support depending on what your preferences are. The pillows are going to be the final thing we look at with cheap and expensive gaming chairs. With the cheap gaming chair having that typical strap design with the cheap foam on the inside, the cheap vinyl on the outside, with that strap that is prone to break after a short amount of time. Secretlab has solved all of those problems. You get a memory foam pillow with a really comfortable fabric on the outside and a magnet system, allowing you to put it anywhere you want. You don't have to deal with a broken strap after a couple months. You're still here? Check out one of these other videos.